let's do the wild card predictions.
Yes.
Because I want to leave the Pittsburgh versus Buffalo game for last. So let's just go in chronological order by list of first games. And we have Cleveland at Houston. Cleveland is favored by 1.5. It's a 44.5 over under. Ron, what's your prediction?
This game is like a flip a coin game to me. I have no idea what to expect from either of these teams. Houston's been playing good. Stroud has been excellent. Having said that, he's still down Tank Dell. You know, he doesn't have Tank Dell out there playing, so that concerns me. And he's going against arguably the top defense in the league. On the other hand, Cleveland has been offensively, scoring a lot of points, but at the same time, Flacco's been turning the ball over a lot. So I went with Houston winning 23-20. I think regardless, it's going to be a close game. These two teams are very similar. They're not. I don't think anyone is more dominant than the other. So I'm going with Houston pulling off a slight upset. 23-20.
I'm going with Cleveland because I love their defense. And even though I love CJ Stroud, this is his first playoff game. He's a rookie. I think, even though this is a home game, I think that, I think the lights are going to be brighter and they're going to be at his face, and Myles Garrett is going to be in his face. I see them making some mistakes. Of course, Flacco is going to make some mistakes. He's almost like the Josh Allen of the AFC North. He just gives up the ball, but then he also scores a lot of touchdowns. So I got them winning 24-10. I'm sorry, Houston. I know this is like a Cinderella season for them, but I think that it ends right here. I just don't see them. They might score more than 10 points, but I just see them really struggling against this Cleveland defense. So I don't see it. And I love CJ Stroud. I love Houston. I just don't see it for them. The next game, which is going to be very, very cold from the news that we're getting, is Miami at Kansas City. Kansas City's favored by 4.5. It was 3.5. Now it's 4.5. 42.5 over and under. Ron, what's your prediction?
This was another tough one, right? My original instincts were to go Kansas City by a lot, right? Because expect it to be below zero with the wind chill and everything. Miami is a team that plays well in the heat, not necessarily in the cold. And against good teams, they folded like all season long. Having said that, Kansas City, Mahomes has not had a great year either. They have no identity on offense whatsoever. No receivers. It's going to be equally cold for them. Kelsey hasn't scored, I think, in a while either. So there's a lot of questions there too.
Taylor Swift is probably going to be there.
Yeah, I can see Kansas City actually losing. I think a lot of people are thinking this should be an easy game, and a lot of the bets are probably focused on Kansas City. Now I have them winning 24-21, but it wouldn't shock me if Miami, by some miracles, figures out how to run the ball, because that's what they're going to have to do. Tua's not going to be able to pass in that environment. And then I think Kansas City might make one or two mistakes because they just don't have the weapons at all. But I'm going to stick with them winning 24-21 is my final score.
I don't think that it's going to be as close. I have Kansas City winning 24-17, but 42.5 with that weather, you probably want to go under. I just like Andy Reid. I think that he's going to have a good game plan. I like Pacheco. He runs hard. And I like the Kansas City defense. I know that it's probably the best statistically that Andy Reid has ever had in Kansas City. And like you mentioned earlier, I just don't trust Tua. I don't trust Tua in the cold. I know they have tons of injuries. I mean, Miami has tons of injuries, and their line is not really that good. I just, I have them 24-17. They might not even get to 17 points. I think that this might be, a really, really close game. I just I don't see them winning at all. The next game, and we're gonna skip Pittsburgh at Buffalo. Green Bay at Dallas, 7-point spread for Dallas, 50.5 over and under. Ron, what's your prediction?
Yeah, I went under. I think Dallas is going to win 27-20. So I'm right at that 7-point. Listen, Green Bay has had a decent year. They're in the playoffs. I think the quarterback has been up and down, but mostly good. I think Dallas is going to be too much in Dallas, especially for Green Bay to overcome. Dak has been playing well. Now this is the playoffs now, and we haven't really always seen Dak play well when we get here. But I'm gonna say Dallas is gonna win this, and they should win it pretty comfortably, 27-20.
Yeah, I got Dallas scoring 30 points in this game. I think that, Jordan Love, I know that he's been getting a lot of love because he's been playing so well, but, Dallas at home is a different beast. And, they almost got beat by Detroit because they got a bad call from the ref. But, other than Detroit, I mean, I think that Dallas is probably like the second best offense in the NFC. I definitely see them scoring a lot of points. I definitely see Green Bay just not handling Parsons as well. So I just see them winning this, and I see them moving on to the next round. The next game, speaking of Detroit, LA at Detroit. Detroit is favored by 3 points, 51.5, which is the highest one of the weekend. Ron, what's your prediction?
Yeah, this is gonna be a great game. Maybe the best game out of this whole entire weekend. I got Detroit winning 28-27. I think the Rams are scary good offensively. Kyren Williams, Puka Nacua. The quarterback obviously wanting to go back to Detroit and play well. Matthew Stafford. I think they're going to put up some points in Detroit. The defense has been questionable, so they're going to allow some big plays. The Rams running game is going to be, something that they're going to struggle with also. So, but I do think Detroit's going to score points and hold them off, or score at the very end to win. I got a 1-point game, 28-27.
Yeah, I also went over. I think that these are probably two good offenses, Detroit being really great offense. And, this is Detroit's first home playoff game in like 30 years, something like that. I just don't see the NFL refs screwing this one up. I don't see a call going against Detroit in this game. They talk about the NFL script and blah, blah, blah. This is one that if you screw over Detroit, you might not be able to leave the dome.
Yeah.
I think that people will attack you if you call against Detroit during this game. So I have them winning 28-24. But like you said, there's going to be big plays. This is probably like, if you are a betting man and you like to take like bets of like who's going to score first, who's going to have blah, 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 you can just have, fun, basically.
Yeah. So here's my prediction for this game. Wouldn't this be something if this happened? Fourth quarter, 5 seconds left. Detroit just scores. They make it 26-27. They're losing. They're down a point, right? Instead of kicking the extra point and going over in overtime, they go for 2 and make it. Can you imagine that with everything on the line? This guy's been aggressive the entire season. Will he do that, in the playoffs when you're basically, if you don't get the 2-point conversion, you're going home? That's that would be what I would expect, because that's how they've been the entire year. They've been ultra aggressive. And I think, I think this game, like I said, is going to be close. So I can see something crazy like that happening.
Yeah, Dan Campbell, I don't know. He's like a wild card, right? He just does, whatever you think he's going to do, he goes the other way. Let me ask, so does Stafford get a standing ovation?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I think that they saw so many years of him not making it. Yes, he played hard, but now he's, the enemy. I know that when Tom Brady went back to New England, they gave him a standing ovation before the game. And then once the game started, the boos just started raining down on him because he was wearing someone else's jersey. So I think that this is going to be the same thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Once the game starts, forget it.
Yeah, forget it.
Beginning of the game, when they do an introductions, I'm sure they'll cheer for him.
This is going to be a Monday night game. Why? I have no idea. I have no idea why they're doing this. This makes no sense, but here we are. Philadelphia at Tampa Bay. Philly, for some reason, is favored by 3 points. It went up from 2.5 to 3. 43.5 is the over and under. Ron, what's your prediction?
Listen, this game I would not touch with money at all. Philly, I don't know what the hell's going on with them. AJ Brown today deleting all of Philadelphia from his Twitter. That ain't good. The day, a couple days before you're about to play in the playoffs. Hurts not 100%. His finger looks all jacked up.
Do you think AJ Brown plays? Because he was at
he's hurt.
Not practice.
Yeah, all week, right? So I don't know if he didn't show up today for practice. I looked at that today. So I'm picking Tampa here. I'm not confident because I think Tampa is, a team that was barely able to get into the playoffs.
Mayfield is hurt.
Mayfield's injured. Mike Evans is really their only weapon. So I'm not 100% confident in this, but I got Tampa winning 23-20. I just don't believe in the Eagles. I think this is it. And I do believe the rumors, believe it or not, that if Eagles get embarrassed or something and they lose this, even though they were in the Super Bowl,
Sirianni's out.
I do believe that. I think the culture, there's something broken there. Either he's out or like that whole crew, that whole staff that's there is gone.
Yeah, I have Tampa Bay winning 20-17, but I don't know how Tampa Bay gets to 20 points. Because I'm trying to figure out, yes, they have Mike Evans, but can Mayfield play? And then, as you mentioned, Philadelphia, yes, they have Hurts, but he's not 100% either. So it's like
Philly's defense has been playing atrocious all season.
All those Georgia players. Yes, that's great, but if they're not executing, what's the point then? Yeah. What's the point of, drafting them and having them in your defense if they're not performing? So, I don't know. This is, I picked Tampa, but Philly can pull it out too. I don't know. Out of all the games, this is the one that I'm not 100% on it because both quarterbacks are not 100%. So let's get to the final game. Pittsburgh at Buffalo. It's gonna be windy. It's gonna be snowing. Buffalo favored by 9.5, which is obviously the highest of the group. 33.5 over and under. Ron, what's your prediction?
Yeah, so let me talk about the weather first. Extremely windy, like you said. Snow on the ground is what they're expecting. Gusts up to 60 miles an hour. There's been some reports, which is even stronger than the Patriots-Bills game. So I see this as a heavily run game for both teams. And that to me favors Pittsburgh. I got an upset here, and I think that 9.5 is disrespectful. Maybe if it was a sunny, clear day, yeah, absolutely. Buffalo is the better team, especially offensively. But I got Pittsburgh winning here, 17-13. Bills' run defense hasn't been good. Najee's coming off back-to-back 100-yard performances. They're running 35, 40 times per game these last few weeks. They found their identity. They're just going to stick with it. This game is perfect for them. I don't think Buffalo can stop their running game. And I think he's been efficient, right? We just came off a game. He's 18 for 20, not having to throw a lot, but still connecting. That's all he needs to do again for them to win. So I see an upset here, and I won't break the surprise, but they win this game. They got a chance to get to the Super Bowl.
Okay, well, you're getting ahead of yourself here. I have Buffalo winning, and the only reason why I have Buffalo winning this game, I have them winning 28-14. I could probably change that to a lower number because of the weather, but basically Buffalo has been in the playoffs since like week 11 because they had to win every game to be alive.
Pittsburgh has too.
Yeah, but they also lost some games here and there. Lost some games that they should have won. And I feel like Buffalo is laser focused. Yes, I do feel like Josh Allen's going to give up the ball like he usually does. But I also feel like he's going to make some plays. Like the best offensive player of both teams is Josh Allen.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if he has a mind frame of, I'm going to do it all, Buffalo is not going to win this game. But I feel like he's been doing that some games just to outright win. But I just don't feel like if I look at the rosters as far as offense, I trust Josh Allen more than I trust Mason.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just, that's what it came down to. I think that Buffalo throws a kitchen sink at Pittsburgh because Mike McDermott doesn't want to lose this game.
Yeah.
Basically, if he loses this game, like we mentioned earlier, he might be out.
Mm-hmm.
If Tomlin loses this game, I don't think he's going to be out. But if he goes back to Pittsburgh, there's going to be a lot of disappointing people.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of disappointing people.
Absolutely.
So I feel like both teams have a lot riding on this.
These teams have had the identical seasons, right? They have had a period of time where they were losing games, and you're like, nothing's working. They both fired their coordinators, and for both teams, their playoffs started weeks ago, and they've had to be on winning streaks to get into the playoffs. These are identical teams in identical situations. Both head coaches, to me, are in identical situations with being on the hot seat, expecting high, with high expectations. Now, to your point, the best player on the field will be Josh Allen. Having said that, the elements, to me, the weather elements, if it turns out to be what they're predicting, I think will limit his ability to get other players involved, like the receivers involved. That Bills-Patriots game, the Patriots only completed 2 passes. But if my memory serves me correctly, Josh Allen only completed 8 passes himself. So, that 10 completions for both teams in that game, you're basically saying, beat me with your legs, which Josh Allen can do, don't get me wrong. But if you take away the passing part of it, because the weather is so bad, I think it falls in our favor. And I think, we can keep the game close, and I think we can win the game.
If Buffalo wins this game, that would be their 6th game in a row.
Mm-hmm.
If Steelers win this game, that would be their 4th game in a row. So I went with the hot hand. Buffalo has a hot hand, and I think that they are going to beat the Steelers.